Good day. This is Social Work Fridays, a platform for all crime survivors from the Office of Victim Advocate. This is part 1 of 8 in our series discussing trauma. What is trauma? According to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, SAMHSA, trauma is defined as a series of events or conditions that overwhelm an individual's ability to cope, resulting in significant changes in the person's life and functioning. These changes may include physical, emotional, social, cognitive, and spiritual distress. Trauma can be caused by a single event, multiple events, or chronic conditions. They note that typical reactions can include shock and denial, while long term effects may involve unpredictable emotions, flashbacks, strained relationships, and other physical symptoms. Trauma is a person's experience of emotional distress resulting from an event that overwhelms their capacity to cope. Trauma can be categorized as acute, chronic, and complex. Acute trauma is typically triggered by a single, short lived, unexpected event that produces intense feelings of danger and distress. Chronic trauma is typically triggered by prolonged, repetitive exposure to traumatic stressors. This type of trauma is associated with severe long-term disruptions in emotional, psychological, and behavioral health, as well as physical health problems. Complex trauma is triggered by prolonged exposure to various types of severe trauma, often within the context of interpersonal or caregiving relationships. Complex trauma is most often associated with childhood abuse, neglect, or abandonment, but it can also result from any situation that makes a person feel persistent terror, fear, or hopelessness with no chance of escape. There are many causes of trauma, including but not limited to abuse, loss, systemic oppression, and as I mentioned earlier, natural disasters. Acute trauma can become chronic and complex over time if it's prolonged or repeated. The nuance and complexity of trauma can make one feel isolated, which perpetuates and can increase its impact. It's not easy to reach out for help, as trauma often perpetuates feelings of loneliness and disconnectedness. In his book, The Body Keeps the Score, Bessel van der Kolk explains how trauma manifests in the body, noting that many of our reactions are automatic. Here at OVA, we facilitate support groups to share ideas and support one another in finding ways to cope, discussing what has worked in our healing journeys and what hasn't served us. We connect and find ways to become more aware and become better at regulating our emotions and automatic responses. Something that I've learned over the years, likely from the group settings I've been fortunate enough to sit in, I learned that the reasons we often carry some of the pain and stress in our neck and shoulder area is a direct result of our ancient instinct to protect our carotid artery in the face of danger. Trauma can make us feel as though we have to protect ourselves all the time, which in many cases is a valid thought and response. I want to talk about and also uplift ourselves so that we can work on finding ways to not live in constant fear, anxiety, and sadness. I want what we are carrying to be a little less heavy so we can free ourselves of its weight. I connected with our training coordinator, Karen Laird, who facilitates training sessions on trauma. I asked her, what's one key takeaway that you'd want others to know? And based on her research and feedback from the trainings, Karen shared that trauma invokes such an individual response influenced by varying internal and external factors that it is important to recognize that what we think a person should do or how they should react, grieve, or heal does not necessarily align with that person's process, and that's okay. Here at the Office of Victim Advocate, we advocate for and provide various support groups for crime survivors. Support groups are available to you free of charge via Zoom. If you're interested, please see the link below the video to connect with a social worker about support groups or local resources available in your community. If you're struggling or in need of support, calling 988 is a crucial step. The 988 Lifeline offers free, confidential, and 24/7 emotional support for individuals facing mental health struggles, substance use concerns, or emotional distress. As we conclude today, I wanted to share a gentle reminder that our thoughts can become our words and our words can become our actions. Mantras, words of affirmations, are a great way to combat negative thought patterns. A great mantra to start with in this series is I am safe, I'm healing, I'm whole. Again, I am safe, I am healing, I'm whole. I'll see you next week. Bye.